Part 6, Friday the 13th Part 6, share a lot of the same music.
Really?
A lot of the same music cues, a lot of the same everything, except for it just doesn't have that. It doesn't have that, but it has a lot of the same orchestral rises and drops and everything.
Okay,
And I always noticed that. I was like, why is this so familiar? It's because of that right there. But he did a lot of stuff. The cinematography, this dude that did the cinematography, Mac Alberg, he did Reanimator, Ghoulies, Trancers, Arena, which nobody's really ever seen that movie. There's like 4 people that have.
I can tell that he did Ghoulies by watching this.
Yes.
Now, here's another one, Beverly Hills Cop 3, Space Truckers with Dennis Hopper, right? And
Forgot about that movie.
Robot Jocks. Now, Arena and Robot Jocks are some of the worst movies that you'll ever watch.
But those are like
so fun.
They're the mecha ones, right?
Yeah, they're so fun. Robot Jocks, everybody's like, Robot Jocks rules. It really does. It's so bad, but it's an awesome movie.
That's where they fight in giant like mech suits, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm making sure. And Space Truckers is sweet, actually.
Yeah, Space Truckers. I forgot all about that movie.
Yeah, I know, right?
That movie kind of reminds me of like Ice Pirates. Those are 2 movies that I would watch back to back.
Yeah. It was edited by Martin Nicholson, which he didn't have a lot of editing to his credits, but he edited a movie called Forbidden World, which is another one of those sleeper classics, that's really bad but kind of decent. It's no Ator, you know what I mean, or Warrior of the Lost World or anything like that, but weird. New World Pictures was a pretty big distribution company at that point, production company. It was officially released on August 28th, 1987. God, it had a budget of $3 million, and it's weird if you watch this movie, $3 million budget on this guy. Where did they spend it? Fucking on somebody's salary, right?
The craft services.
Yeah. It was a lot of Cheetos.
I mean, they did have all of a sudden in the movie, they have like a large turkey dinner ready towards the end.
Right. Did they go shopping?
I guess.
And then it actually at the box office made $10 million, so it made its money back, which was actually pretty decent.
Which is probably, like Dan said at the beginning, the reason it was made.
Right.
Real quick, I want to point out Marvel Comics did release a comic of this.
Yeah. I never got to read it, but
no, I was just looking at it though. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, they did the Buckaroo Banzai comic too. So Marvel always had a lot of really cool properties back in the day.
And Dune, I have the 3-issue Dune one. Have you ever read that?
See, they did Star Wars to begin with too. So let's get into this cast for it. So now the lead in this one is Ari. How do you say it? Ari Gross. He was Jesse.
It would be Ari Gross, I think.
He's been in a lot of stuff, which is crazy.
He was in Soul Man.
Yeah, Minority Report, Just One of the Guys.
Just One of the Guys.
Yeah,
God, I watched that movie a lot.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Because of her tits. Right?
Because I had 3 sisters.
Oh, okay. But her tits in the end are
that's why you stayed and watched with them. Yeah,
exactly. Like, finally,
there's going to be tits.
So
now you guys remember tits in movies.
Turkey tits.
That's not my moniker of a good movie.
No, I know, but
it's the writing, guys. The writing is really great.
Just like Playboy.
I read it for the articles. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, not the pictures.
Now, the other guy in this one, Jonathan Stark, he was Charlie. He did a lot of different things, but his most notable one to me, besides all of his production and everything that he's done directing, was Project X. He was in that one, which I haven't seen that movie in forever.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
And that had Matthew Broderick in it. It was all about the monkeys.
Yeah, I was getting to say.
Flying the simulators.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Okay.
Now, before we even get into...
As I remember when I was a kid.
I need to watch it again.
I need to watch it again.
Yeah. Bill Maher was in this one too. He was John.
Bill Maher. Amazon Women of the Avocado Jungle of Death fame.
Yes. I mean, he's gone on to do a couple of things. That's all I really got to say about it.
Most notably that movie, but
and he just plays himself in this.
He's Bill Maher. Yeah,
he
pretty much.
Really does.
100%. John Ratzenberger's in it. He's Bill.
And he is the best character in this whole movie.
He's the best part of it.
He's in every Pixar animated movie. He has a voice.
Yes. Lara Park Lincoln, she was Kate. Now, she was in Friday the 13th Part 7, and she was on a couple of episodes of Freddy's Nightmares. So you can kind of see the connection where the Sean S. Cunningham used a lot of the same people in all of this.
Yeah.
Which she was a blonde. I think she was a blonde psychic in Part 7 to where she mentally, eviscerated fucking Jason and shit like that.
Man, I don't know.
Before he went to New York, it was like a stop on it. Now, one of the most famous people in this movie that's done a lot of stuff was Amy Asbeck. She was Lana. She was part of Puce Glitz and the Avoiders.
Yes. Great name.
Yes.
Great name.
I know. Awesome, right? She was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. She was in The Mask, Dracula Dead and Loving It. She was in all different kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Dwyer Brown was Clarence. He was in The First House, which he was basically Jesse's father at the very beginning of it. Gregory Walcott, he was a sheriff. Now, this guy did a lot of Ed Wood movies, real Ed Wood movies, like Plan 9 from Outer Space. Crazy, right? Dean Clarendon, he was Slim. He really didn't have a lot of credits to his name. Not much. And then Kane Hodder was in this. Kane Hodder was a gorilla in the party scene.
Yeah.
And he did, I'm pretty sure he did most of the stunt work, and he was the stunt coordinator on the film.
Okay.
Now, the most famous person...
actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because, again, he was in that same production crew, which is really cool. Now, the most famous person in this whole movie, besides Bill Maher, of course, was Royal Dano.
Yeah.
Royal Dano did so much stuff.
Dude, check out his IMDb.
Man, the TV credits that he has is like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Have Gun Will Travel, The Rifleman, Rawhide, Bonanza, The Big Valley, Death Valley Days, Gunsmoke, Kung Fu, Planet of the Apes, the TV show.
Sweet.
Little House on the Prairie. He was on Twin
Little
Peaks.
House?
Oh,
yes, he was on Twin
And then
Peaks.
at this time, he was making movies kind of towards the end of his life, and he made Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes.
Ghoulies 2.
I was going to say, there's your apex right there.
Yeah, Space Invaders, all of those right there. Those movies right there were big, left big impressions on me at that age too.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns, come on,
what
dude.
a fucking crazy movie. Just weird.
Yeah, and you're like, what's going to, like, what is this?
Yeah, I got.
Oh
my
my God, what just happened?
There's Killer Clowns. This is weird.
And they're from outer space.
So there was a lot. They had a decent cast. Most everybody kind of fit in this movie.
He's definitely the most accomplished actor by far. Obviously, had a big career, and
He plays Gramps.
when
correct?
I was younger,
Yeah, he was Gramps.
like I hadn't watched this since I was like young when it came out. You know what I mean? And in my mind, Gramps was always played by the same guy that played Uncle Jesse on Dukes of Hazzard.
You would think, right?
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I remembered
Yeah.
from being a kid. I'm like, oh, I think it's that guy.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm
Before you
watching,
knew
I'm
it
like,
was.
That's
yeah.
not that guy. Hold on.
Yeah.
you know?
After a while, after watching this for a long time, I finally figured out he was the same dude from Killer Clowns.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, it's the fucking same dude. You know what I mean? Ghoulies 2, I don't really remember too well, but Killer Clowns definitely. And Space Invaders. Space Invaders is whenever they come down on October 31st.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
remember. Ghoulies 2, wasn't that the one? Was that the cover with the guy coming out of the toilet?
Yes. I
Yeah,
believe so.
yeah. Ghoulies 2 is a horrible movie.
Yeah, well, of course they.
Yeah, come on.
They were all horrible.
Yeah, they were
Come
really
on.
bad. Yeah.
But they were horrible in such a great way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were so bad they were good.
Again, you can watch that on that Tubi app. I know they're not a sponsor or anything, but
Yeah.
I've just been impressed with what I can watch on there. So
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
There's just a lot of stuff on there. Well, let's get into this movie.
And
Let's
why
get
not
into
share
this
that
movie.
wealth of knowledge with the listeners?
yeah, one thing I want to mention too, when this was in theaters, I was reading that they were giving away stuff to movie theaters to give away as like merch tie-ins. There were the glowing skull night lights. And then there were the cat or puppy toys. They had little cat or puppy.
Oh man, that would be cool to
Yeah.
find one of those, man. The
I was-
skull?
yeah.
That'd be the shit to find one of those. If anybody has one of those, send us an email
Send
with a
it
picture
in.
of it. That would be
Drop
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
gmail.com.
All right, let's get into this movie. Now, this
I like
movie
that it's a cat or puppy because I always called it a puppy pillar. I didn't know.
It's like a glowworm.
I think it's this all the same, dude. I think it all works.
I'm just kidding.
Now imagine if they would have come out with like toys for this. I mean, you have Gramps and you have the cat or puppy. Slim with the skull. It'd be so fucking weird. The dude in the gorilla suit.
You'd have to have that one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even
It'd be like getting Bob the Goon.
yeah,
Charlie.
exactly. Yeah. Bozo the Death Machine.
Different outfits of Charlie.
Yes, his crazy shirts. All right, let's get into this movie. Now, the movie starts off in a kind of a darker tone because they're setting up everything.
Right.
So it's mom and dad, but you don't know really who it is. But it's back in what they said, the 50s.
Yeah. It's a lady holding a baby on the balcony thing or on the stairwell.
Yeah, and they hear these weird sounds like cling, cling. spurs and shit like that, and they're just like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah.
It's kind of just a weird deal.
And they run down the stairs and they give their baby away.
Yeah, and they give the baby to somebody. God knows who it is, right?
we don't even
Aunt or uncle or something like that.
Just be random folks they met earlier that day at the market. We gotta get rid of this kid.
Let's give this baby away. We can't take care of it anymore. We're gonna die tonight. It's just weird, right? Well, they get into it, and that's the first time that you get to see kind of how weird the house is and how big it is. Now, the house that they chose for it, too, was fucking massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge house. Really, really cool. Really, really, I don't know how you, I don't know. It was just too big for two people to be fucking living in. You know what
for
I mean?
sure.
Most of the movie is going to take place, what I would imagine, inside this house. They probably spent a lot of money to get this, and then they're like, oh, yep, we got to use this set here. We're going to use this in this scene and this scene, so try and write it that way.
That might be the case. I kind of assume they built it off another set. You know what I mean?
You think when you you think when you walk inside, it's all just a set?
Because maybe not. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's what it seemed to me, because you could definitely double use that. There's already temple stuff in there and all that.
Well, yeah, because
You know
what I
mean?
really think is the house actually was an Aztec temple or something like that, and somebody came in later on and just built the house around it.
Sure.
You know, because the altar is right there. You kind of get a glimpse of the way that the house is set up. Really big balcony, big staircases, stained glass.
I don't have any facts on that, by the way. That was just my
me neither.
Yeah, it probably was. I mean, everything was probably set built, you know, and they just used the exterior of the house to really kind of show the breadth of the house, you know.
I think you might be right, because in the finale, in the end there, when the cops pull up, I don't know, it could be outside, but it could be a set, too, that they've just shot it on. Or maybe it's all just a backlot.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And we digress.
Yeah,
We digress. Yeah.
Sorry.
So we find out that the older, they weren't really an older couple, but the couple is basically they got rid of their younger Jesse because they knew that this old cowboy was coming after them. He was the one stalking them in the house.
Well, yeah, you see the shadow go by.
Yeah, the house is so big and sprawling again that he can pretty much go anywhere.
Right.
So they go into the old West room. You know, it's just full of like dead shit.
Here's a big dead horse.
Yeah, weird. Fucking all kinds of shit. And it's, give me the skull. You know, he's like, what skull? I don't got it. Of course, you know, that's setting you up because you really have no idea where that's going to go.
Is that Frank Wilker's voice?
Shakti Day.
Is that Frank Wilker's voice?
Yeah. The man of 1,000 or 1,000,000 voices.
He's good.
He's been in, I think Fred Welker's been in every movie that we've actually talked about so far. In some way, shape, or form, almost. Yeah, he has his credits are he does the voice of the fucking dog, you know, the catter dog in this one, the pillar dog or whatnot. He actually does. It's weird, and the bird and shit like that too. So the dude's pretty prolific. Anyway, you get into that where they both get killed by Slim.
Yeah, this
guns them down.
This cowboy ghost thing that we don't know much about at that point, really.
And if you've already seen the House
he
One,
shoots both of them.
Yeah, if you've seen House One, you know that it's going to be a haunted house movie. You're already expecting it to be kind of funky.
If you saw the preview for the picture, the poster for this, or anything about this, it's going to be a haunted house movie.
Yeah, you're already prepared for it,
right?
So that's they were correct to get rid of the child.
Yes. Because the baby would have.
But I only hope
to death.
I only hope that it's somebody that they met at the market that day.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
What's your name again, Karen?
Yeah.
No,
and I would like to talk to your manager.
Do not give your children to anyone named Karen. Karen's a fucking bag of douche.
Yeah, there's
Sorry,
no
Karen.
young
Rebecca?
Karens. Yeah.
Unless you're a listener named Karen, then you're awesome.
Yeah, what's up, Karen?
Hey, Karen, how you doing? Friends of the show. So then we kind of get into what happens next is it's present day now. So they show the house from the outside during the day.
It's 1986, October something.
Yeah, and so Jesse and his wife or girlfriend or whoever she is show up. She's properly dressed in the 80s shoulder pads, everything.
Teased hair.
And he's just kind of like, oh, wow, this has been sitting here my whole life and I haven't ever lived here? What the fuck, right? So they go in and
How long's your family lived here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a family. You know? Like, where did he get, like, Did somebody
Well,
send him a
so-
certified letter from Western Union?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
assume to his market family. Yes.
Yeah, right. They're like, here you go. This is yours. And he's already a famous.
Well,
like,
that's probably how they like he got famous. Like obviously he was just getting on the cover of magazines, as we find out.
yeah,
things
because
like
he was
that.
a designer, an architect, or
architect. I think.
architectural.
No, artist. He's an artist.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
So he was basically enamored with architectural